Check out this behind-the-scenes look from my interview with top CEO Darren Sugiyama.
I heard a crazy rumor about an old Little League baseball coach of mine that was making over $1 million a year in the insurance business. And so I tracked him down. I went out to visit him at his office and verified that it was true.
Yeah.
And I remember I drove back to my crappy little one-bedroom apartment in Huntington Beach thinking to myself, hey, that dude can do it.
How hard could it be?
How hard
He's
could
not
it
that
be?
smart.
So knowing nothing about this, I go get my insurance license.
And you're how old when you...
I'm 31. 31.
Okay.
So remember this whole thing about insecurity and overcompensating and getting my ego crushed with a divorce. And so I'm trying to rebuild my manhood essentially, right?
By ripping runways. I don't know. I'm like, he went from tough guy, gangbanger, to now he's ripping runways and putting on moisturizer cream. I love it.
There were some side perks.
No judgment, yeah.
There were some side perks to being in that world, if you know what I mean? Yeah. But so I get in the insurance business, and first year, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. So I'm running my business out of Starbucks and Coffee Bean and hotel lobbies because I'm broke, right? I can't afford an office.
Gonna create your own insurance company.
Yeah.
Okay, from scratch.
Yeah. So a logical, intelligent person would go work for a company, learn the ropes, and then maybe at some point, no. So I just jump in and I'm gonna build this from scratch.
Yeah.
And I'm working, I'm not exaggerating, 7 days a week, 16-hour days. I'm sleeping in my car some nights. And a year into it, so I got my license on January 3rd of 2003. My personal tax return for 2003 showed a gross income of $277. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to make it in Huntington Beach. Yeah. That's a couple lattes at Starbucks.
I'm living off of credit card advances.
Okay.
I had a little bit in savings, but not much. I'm living like a rat.
No model money saved up.
No model money.
Okay.
A little bit, but not a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot. And everyone thinks I'm nuts, right? My parents think I'm nuts. They think I'm a drug addict because they never see me. They think, how is he possibly making it if he's not making any money?
Yeah.
And so that was rough. That really drove a wedge between me and my parents from a relationship standpoint. I didn't talk to my parents for a year and a half after.
And they kind of just, not disowned you, but they were like, they thought you were making bad decisions.
Yeah, they didn't disown me. They just, I knew they disapproved, and they said some things that I interpreted as being very hurtful.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they said hurtful things. It's just because my ego was so fragile, and I was so unsuccessful up until that point in my life.
Yeah.
That anything that resembled criticism, I had really, really thin skin. I couldn't take it. So I said, look, I'm going to step away from everything that is not overly positive.
Yeah.
I will only surround myself with things that are uber positive, and that's the only way I'm going to be able to have a shot at making this.
Yeah.
And so a year goes by, and right at the end of that first year, I felt like I was just on the verge of perfecting the reinvention of the wheel, which everyone said don't do.
Despite $270 some dollars, you're like, this close. I'm going to reinvent how the entire industry is done. And you're saying everyone's like, don't reinvent the wheel. This is how it goes. And you're like, no, we could do it a better way.
Yeah.
Okay. The self-belief, despite having a fragile ego at that time, there's still a lot of self-belief there.
You can call it self-belief, you can call it delusion. You can call it naivete. I mean, yeah. So the next year, things dramatically took off. The next year, things started skyrocketing, and by the time I hit my 5th year in the game, we were number one in the country, number one brokerage firm in the country with 3 different insurance companies. By my 7th year, I started doing speaking engagements, and insurance companies were hiring me to go and retrain their people. So one in particular, they said, I was number one in the country with them for 3 years in a row. They said, we want you to retrain our 6,000 agents nationwide. And at that time, my company was just shy of 40 million in sales. And I'm like, I'm flattered, but now I'm running a pretty, I'm
I got a busy thing, yeah.
They said, just humor us, and what would that cost?